Welcome to today's Explainer, where we are diving headfirst into a seriously atmospheric and, frankly, chilling mystery. We're going to examine a totally unexplained acoustic phenomenon that was recorded right beneath the thick, frozen expanse of the Antarctic ice. It's one of those stories that really forces us to stop and question what's actually happening out there in one of the absolute most remote places on our planet. So we're going to break down exactly what the source logs tell us about this bizarre event. Explorers in Antarctica heard knocking sounds under the ice, and nobody could explain it. Just sit with that premise for a second. You are standing out there on this seemingly endless, completely desolate surface of solid ice, and suddenly you hear something emanating from the deep void right beneath your feet. Okay, let's dive into this and look at exactly what the source logs actually say. All right, setting the scene with our mission to the ice. Picture this initial setting. We've got a team of scientists deployed in an environment that is literally defined by total isolating silence. There's no background noise, no hum of a city, just a frozen, heavy quiet. It's day one, and they're out there studying these ancient ice layers, really getting into the deep fern and glacial shelves. And at minute zero, everything appears completely 100% normal. But then, look at how fast this totally routine scientific mission shifts. Right at minute one, there's a sudden onset of echoing sounds. It just starts. And by minute 5, the tension completely peaks. The researchers realize, okay, this isn't just standard ice cracking. Something else is happening.
That brings us right to the rhythmic knocking.
In an environment where you expect absolutely nothing but stillness, the sudden introduction of a patterned noise is a profound disruption. Let's move to the actual logs and see how this builds. The research team documented a very, very specific acoustic progression. It kicks off with this slow knocking. Then the sound starts repeating. It becomes almost rhythmic. And the craziest part is that this wasn't just some brief anomaly that happened once and vanished. It continued for several minutes. It's that slow, deliberate pace recorded in the logs that makes the whole event undeniably eerie. As one researcher actually described the experience on the ice, it sounded literally like something hitting the ice from below. Take just a moment to let the sheer weight of that firsthand account sink in. It is a deeply unsettling observation, especially coming from seasoned professionals who are intimately familiar with what normal, everyday ice is supposed to sound like. Which leads us to the next phase, scanning the deep. So faced with this totally bizarre anomaly, the team didn't just pack up. They quickly deployed seismic sensors and ground-penetrating radar to scan right beneath the surface, hunting for the source of the knocking. But despite going at it with this incredibly rigorous, empirical approach, the data returned absolutely nothing unusual. They found ice, they found water, and they found emptiness. So the crucial point is, the mystery didn't just end there as a weird one-off glitch. According to the records, these exact same acoustic signatures actually returned again during a completely separate later expedition. Now we hit the ultimate divide, science versus senses. We're left with this really fundamental clash, and this brilliantly illustrates the tension at the heart of the story. On one side, we have the official scientific consensus, right? We know for a fact that shifting glaciers and deep ice fracturing can, and absolutely do, create highly irregular, sometimes spooky acoustic effects. But on the flip side, we have the firsthand accounts. The actual human beings who stood out there on the ice maintain that the sound's cadence was far too deliberate to just be random glacial shifting. It's this fascinating tug-of-war between empirical consensus and pure human conviction. But we also really have to factor in the psychological element of this extreme environment. In Antarctica's total, crushing silence, literally every single sound feels amplified. Sensory deprivation plays some major tricks on the human mind. It doesn't just amplify the physical sound waves traveling up through the ice, it naturally magnifies human paranoia and our totally innate fear of the unknown. So the environment itself actually becomes a massive factor in how we analyze the data. So what does this all mean? Was it just moving ice, shifting naturally in the dark, or something trapped deep below, trying to reach the surface? It's a really stark choice between a complex, natural acoustic phenomenon and a deeply unexplained presence. I'll leave you to ponder exactly what might be echoing out there in the freezing dark.